Boom. 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 We're live, everybody. Hey, super excited to have you here. Red TV and Conversation. I'm Peter Clark, and thank you for joining me. If you are here at all, congratulations. If you are here for the first time, thank you for joining us here on the show. If you're coming back and you've been here before, I really appreciate it because you already know what you're in for. It's all kind of, look at over there. Just look at over there. I can't do a big long intro, everybody, because we're going to waste so much time. Two precious souls sitting over there. Legends. I'm blessed to be around legends today, and just super excited. It's year end, everybody, as we record this. If you're watching this, I'm recording. It's year end, and I wanted to get together these two beautiful souls. I saw a post. The idea came to me when I saw Liberty actually post something on his Facebook page where he put up a picture of a modern drummer. And he had two faces up there, and there was himself, and of course this other young, good-looking fellow over there was also on the cover of Modern. I thought, it'd be great to catch up with these two guys, see what's going on at year end. We are live right now across the internet. We're actually out on Kenny's Facebook page. If you are watching from Kenny's Facebook page, please make sure you throw something in the comments. Let us know if you got a question for Kenny or Liberty. We're going to try to get to them as many as we can. We're going to keep it flowing quickly. We got a lot of little cool things happening. I got a little surprise for one of them, maybe two of them. There you go. We're going to find out right now. But really, the conversation today is going to be just year end, where everybody is. These two guys are super busy, and they both have books. They both are super, again, legends in what they do. And I think a lot of people are kind of scrambling, always trying to get them on the show. Here I got two of them. It is so unbelievable. So please, everybody, please welcome. And let's see if we can get them all together. Kenny, Aronoff, and Liberty, how are you?
We're good, man. I'm tired of these super drummers. I want to be a superhero. I want to learn to fly.
Right. Good to see you. Kenny, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. You before we went on the air, you were saying you two gentlemen. I mean, I have to say, Liberty's a gentleman. I'm not a gentleman.
No. Hey, don't you take that kind of credit. Don't you take that
yeah, I'm the this is where Liberty and I get going, man.
Oh yeah.
We start and all of a sudden, give me a fist. God.
Listen.
We're famous for ruining weddings.
Yes.
I'm gonna say the opposite. I'm gonna bet that there is not one wedding that that I can ever remember where one of your songs aren't playing somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you that. So first of all, thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Liberty. It's so good to see you, man. I just again, I love your company. I remember the last time we chatted was about a year ago, where we had Fran Strine from the documentary, the filmmaker from the documentary Hired Gun. Of course, Kenny was in that as well. And so we were talking about the launch of your book, and that was doing so well. And Kenny, man, listen, I need a full-time staff person to research and keep up with what you're doing. So congratulations on everything you're doing, my friend. And we'll talk a little bit about that. There's so many people just popping into the comments. I want to let you guys know that there's people from all over the world that are going to be tuning in. I'm just looking here. I'm going to go real quick, everybody. If we can get your questions in, we're going to do all that. I always love to see look, Brazil. I mean, come on.
Brazil.
I love that.
Wow.
Hey, Brazil in the house. It's good to see you. Melody, always love to see you. I love a Boston accent.
Massachusetts.
Hi, Melody.
Massachusetts. There we go. And hey, listen, appreciate that, Tim. Appreciate you being here. From LA, we got some LA in the house. Best of the season. See, another one gentleman right there, Kenny. Someone else calling you a gentleman. Sorry about that. That was almost an insult. It's almost
No, I'm a gentleman. I'm not that either.
That's right. You are
He's
a gentleman.
An animal. He's an animal.
Hey, see? I'm telling you.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm an animal.
I'm going to keep putting it up. Please, everybody, if you got a question for everybody, please look at this.
Australia.
Right? Kenny, drummer. Listen, they love you. You guys are legends. They're in Louisville. We got Louisville in the house.
Hey, well, come back to that other one where it said Kenny's the best drummer ever. Wait a minute now. What is that?
I don't know. I don't edit these things. I just put them up. I don't edit these things.
Peter, if you see that somebody that I owe them money, just go past that.
That's what I'm screening here. I'm just screening if there's any girlfriends, wives, anything that in the past showing up. Louisville in the house. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Louisville.
I saw Kenny do a drum clinic in Louisville about in '95. Wow, look, it gave me
drumsticks. Well, right? You're generous, man.
I have a funny feeling these guys are going to be.
Wow.
There you go. So David's in the house. Listen, everybody, we're going to try to get to everybody. I'm trying to see some cities here. Is that Vestal? Is that how you say that? Vestal, New York? Is that how you say that?
Vestal, New York. I have no
Vestal.
idea. I don't know where it is. Probably upstate somewhere.
Where we go? We got Northern, we got Pennsylvania in the house, and of
Yeah.
course, Colorado.
There you
I think
go.
we got Colorado. Here we go. There we go.
Karen.
Wow.
Karen, she's an amazing woman. Karen, I love you.
There you go. See, did not know that person.
She's
Good to
great.
see you. So a lot of people here in the comments. Please throw some questions in there. Liberty, let's start with you, my fine friend.
Why?
First of all,
All the Kenny fans are out there.
well, why? Because I haven't spoken to you in such a long time, and Kenny and I actually we chat every now and then. God, I've fallen in love with his family, believe it or not. So I've talked to Kenny a little bit more. That's why I definitely want to start with you, Liberty. So listen, first of all, foremost, you and your family, everyone healthy, everyone okay?
Everybody's good. We're all good. My little almost 5-year-old had a little scare. She had a cough, really bad one. We thought, but she got tested. She's fine. She's fine. She's in preschool. Of course, they're going to get sick. You go to preschool, you get sick. But everybody else, everybody's good. I mean, with this new variants, it's unbelievable. They're closing down Broadway. Yeah. Everything's getting closed down again. It really sucks. It really does.
Totally get it. Totally get it. And with a young person in the house, I'm thinking it's a pretty exciting time of the year for you guys, you and your family. Christmas time. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, we got the tree. My wife wrapping the presents and presents. That reminds me, I gotta go get something for her.
You better get something for me because I got you something.
All right.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
I got you a big hot dog.
Nathan's hot dog.
So Liberty, let's talk about the book. Go back to that. We haven't chatted for about a year. It's been out for a little while. I know it's doing super well. The reviews, I've seen the reviews. I've read the reviews. I got to tell you, it's called Life, Billy, and the Pursuit of Happiness. It was going to be called Liberty DeVitto, hardest working drummer in business, but somebody already took that title. So right,
you should have said the hardest hitting drummer in business.
Hardest hitting drummer, whatever it was. I told Kenny, I said, wait a minute. Where's me up there? And he said, it was originally titled Kenny Aronoff, hardest hitting drummer in the business besides Liberty DeVitto, but the publishers cut off Liberty DeVitto. It was too big for the cover.
Yeah, exactly. God, this is so long.
But Kenny, he's, you think of Liberty as Liberty, you're a hard hitting drummer. I mean, Kenny, right?
Listen. This mofo hits harder than me, and they all say I hit hard. This mofo. Now, this guy snaps cymbal stand heads off. Yeah. He's like one of those guys. Do you have a friend? You go up to him, you touch him, and it feels like wood or like metal. It's like it doesn't go in. He's that guy. Grabs you. It's like a vice grip. This mofo snapped. Listen, I'm a hard hitter. Everybody knows it, but this guy's the next level. Swear to God.
Listen to me. This is the greatest story ever. I remember you telling me this. You came to see me play with Billy in Minneapolis. And you were with, I guess it was one of your wives. I forget what number it was. But anyway, But anyway, you were like jumping around and you're going to her. You're going, this drummer, he's great. Oh, I love this guy. And your wife looks at you and says, of course you love him. He plays just like you.
Right. So you knew it then. I mean, you guys, and again, I hear, again, when you just have to be out on the internet and read things, your names always come up when it talks about, when it comes about classic rock and roll, when it comes about longevity, and when it comes about hitting hard and playing, but hitting hard and playing with precision, Liberty. I mean, because there's a lot of songs, obviously very classic songs, where you didn't have to pound them. I mean, you could do it live, but you didn't have to do it in the studio, right?
Well, just like Kenny, we play for the song. Whatever the song is, that's what we play for. It doesn't matter if we're going to go blasting and hitting every drum that we have, or if we're going to play with one hand with a brush on the back of a guitar. If it fits the song, that's what we're going to do. That's what we do.
Right. Yeah. And Kenny, what kind of? Because I know that you know a lot of Liberty's work and stuff like that. You're the same way. I mean, you're known for your obviously the classic sound that you've created. Everything from when you think of Blaze of Glory and John Bonn, of course, Mellencamp, all that kind of stuff. But you have that big band and some of that jazz background, which a lot of people don't appreciate, and that's another way of playing. Obviously, you don't have to be pounding it out in jazz and big band as well, right?
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, it won't sound right. I mean, it won't sound authentic. But here's the thing. I didn't grow up in New York, but my parents were New Yorkers. And so on my turntable, probably like Liberty's, was jazz, classical, or Broadway. It was like what was ever going on in New York, and that was a melting pot. So, we learned how to swing. We're rockers, but we got that swing thing in our playing, just like John Bonham and Ian Pace, Mitch Mitchell. So we're old enough where we really absorbed that whole jazz thing, that swing thing, that the next generation didn't necessarily adapt or to their playing.
Right.
And the thing is, go ahead.
Somebody once said this, and myself and Kenny are included in this, that like John Bonham, what we play on a record and even live too, we make every note has to count. There's no fluff in what we do. Every note counts. If there's a note there, it's there for a reason.
Yeah, it's intentional. It's intentional.
Yes.
Liberty, just one thing I've never asked you, and I because I'm fascinated with Kenny doing this. He's famous for and well known for charting things and so on. How did that play out for you? Did you ever go in that direction where you wrote things out, or was it really off the top of your head? What happened there?
No, I don't know how to read music or write music. I saw Kenny once. And he was playing at the what is that president thing you used to play in Washington?
And the Kennedy Center stuff.
They were inducting Billy Joel, right?
Yeah.
And Kenny posts his notes. He writes out Piano Man, and I wrote underneath it, "You got to write this shit out. You got to be kidding me."
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But because of that, Liberty's got probably this impeccable memory, because that's the way you had to, Billy says something or somebody else says something, you have to remember it. I just, because I learned how to read, I didn't have to work on the memory as much until I have to memorize the whole show, of course.
Right.
But the only reason why I had to do it, where it served me, was like those Kennedy Center honors things. Holy shit. They don't even tell you the songs until the week before you're going there. And then they change them. And then they reorganize. I mean, if you can't read, you'd be lost in 2 seconds there. That was the Super Bowl of gigs. Well, and then all the artists come and they want to do different. Your head spinning, they're changing shit. If I couldn't write it down, I would have blown it.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that when you play, it's like sometimes they wouldn't do the bridge a second time, or they would change things up so much that you'd have to write it. I write my own notes when I get a gig. Like when I was playing with Ronnie Spector, I had to learn all his songs, and I write my own notes, like verse, intro, and I make up stuff like we have those things like a fill that goes Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, Pat Boone, Debbie Boone. You write that kind of thing out. I write these stupid things out. And anyway, but once I got the chart and I would read it every night, I couldn't let it go. I had to have that book. If I lost the book, I felt like I'd be dead, because I didn't start out memorizing it.
That's the problem with once you start writing, man. It's a long process.
Yeah.
So Liberty, when you went into in the studio, and you probably answered this before, and I apologize, but I saw some video clips and some of the process, and I've read a little bit about that. Did you literally? Because I know Kenny is very methodical about it. Not saying you aren't, but was it more of a? Did you jam it out with those guys at some times, or did you just kind of sit back and they let you come in with your whatever you felt at that time?
With Billy let me create whatever you hear on the record. That's what he would say, like, "Oh, can you do this like Ringo?" And I would tell him on the phone, like, "Yeah, I can do it like Ringo, but I'm going to put Liberty DeVitto in there so it doesn't sound like Ringo," But he'll have an idea of what direction he wants to go in, but I'm creating the part, I have to say this because, like I said before, when you listen to a perfect track and you think, "Wow, I would have done the same exact thing," I got to tell Kenny, I am so jealous of that thing you do, that song, because it's like when I listen to it, it's like I can't think of anything else that I would have played in there. It's so perfect. It really is.
Wow, that's very cool. And you know what? That's a song that doesn't come up a whole lot, Kenny. I mean, I remember I was just watching something. I was watching a video of you doing a tour of your studio. By the way, everyone, please go to the YouTube and just out to YouTube. And I think it was in June or July this year. I meant to bring the clip on, but long story short, I watched that. Beautiful studio setup. You have it all set up for your speaking and so on. But in that clip, you actually showed, again, all your, some of the records, the gold records, platinum, and that's one of the ones. That's that soundtrack and that song specifically. It sounded. I guess people might think there's a simplicity to it, but there's great genius in simplicity, right? As Liberty's talking about.
I mean, what Liberty's picking up on is that stylistically, it was like accurate to that time, the '60s, and I mean, we did a lot of takes because they wanted a lot of takes. They wanted us show different levels, like we were a band practicing the song, then it eventually becomes a song. Oh yeah, there was a lot of holy shit. And so like Liberty said, every note ends up being super value. So it was a process, but that's what we ended up with. Yeah.
When they break into that at the end of that movie, it's like you want to get up and cheer like you did at the end of Rocky when he takes that punch and knocks the guy down.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Yeah.
So Liberty, I do want to brush over the book part of it. I want to make sure everyone knows that it's still available, it's still out there for sale. I'm going to put the title up here for everybody right now. And just tell me, are you happy with it? It's a year later. Are you happy with everything that has come from that?
I'm very happy with it. It sold well. It's still selling. When I do gigs, I sell a bunch of them. And it's also out in the audio book. And I know my buddy there, he just did his audio book, which is hell to do. It's hell to do. I'm telling you, books were made to be read, not said. And when you try to read your own book, it's oh my God, it's impossible.
Was it just because of the recording process and that, or was it actually sort of hard to kind of hear yourself because you wrote these words and then now you're going back to try to perfect how you were thinking to say them? Is it just the process that was annoying, or was it literally going through the book again? And
no, the process. You get stuck on a word. If you say musician and if you say magician instead of musician,
right,
you're done. You might as well go home, because you're not going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I know, Kenny, you talk to that, Kenny, because I know that you just recently, you have a book out as well, obviously. But the book has been just turned into this audio. And I remember you, I guess this summer, anyway, we were chatting a couple times, like through text, and you were like, I'm doing this thing and holy cow. And
mine might have been different than Liberty. What happened with mine? And Liberty doesn't know this, but, the publisher jobbed it out to another company that does audiobooks. Those stupid idiots, they knew it. They knew I wanted to read my book. They hired some other guy, and they went, well, because it was COVID. I'm like, I got a goddamn studio. I got my own studio. Right. I'm like, I somehow emailed the publisher, says, when am I going to start my audiobook? He says, well, they already started. I went, what? I says, I got on the phone, says, listen, mofo, nobody wants to hear somebody else talk about the lesbian scene I got in with two chicks. I'm going to be able to tell it better than they are. So, I mean, come on. I mean, it was stupid. So, okay, but here's the point. So I figured, take this amount of time. Boy, was I wrong. Like Liberty said, I mean, to keep your endurance up, to read I might have gotten through 17 pages in 9 hours in one day. That's it. That's it. And then we started editing and listening. You got to punch in there. Then you got to get your voice back to where it was at. And here's what got heavy. So I talked to a buddy of mine that said, that's in this business. He said, dude, I don't think that audio company's got their shit together. In other words, you better not hand that thing in unless it's finished, mixed, everything. Because if you hand in something that's 75% done, you expect them to edit, they might not. They'll just put it out. And I went, are you kidding? So we actually edited every single line to make sure the breath between each line. And if you said something heavy, a little bit longer, fading out, fading in. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I'll never do that again.
Did you go to Audible?
Yeah, it's on Audible.
Yeah,
But
they turned us down once because the frequency wasn't quite right. They
well,
sent it back again. You know?
they made me do a frequency test in my
Yeah.
studio. Like they made me do a dB test. So I got that right. But and it was only 50 dude, and by the way, I spent my own money because they spent all the money.
Wow. Yeah. I think
so
I
here's
remember
the
you
deal.
sharing that.
So I had to sit here and go right here in this chair and go, all right, what's the North Star? What do I want ultimately? Forget about money. I want my voice on my book.
Right.
Forever it's gonna be there. So I went, I don't care what it costs, I'm gonna have this thing done right. They spent my money. And I don't care if they're hearing me say that right now, but that's what they did. And I did the right thing to make it right. And forget about the money, just got to move on.
I went
Forget
to 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃𝗲𝗄 Richie Cannata's in the lodge with me. He was in Billy Joel's band with me. And he has a studio on Long Island. And I was going there every day. And we had this young kid, Brendan, who was the engineer. And the two of them were reading. I had the book enlarged, so I could see it. And they had copies too. And every time I would say something and it was wrong, I didn't think it was wrong. Like you say, they and instead of them or whatever. I hear Richie go, nope.
Yeah.
You got to do it again. Do it again. And if I was a diva, when Brendan turned to me one day and said, the band was focused, not the band was, and I would have been like, shut up. It's my, but I was like, okay. This kid went on a ski trip with his girlfriend and took his computer to edit the thing. He was so dedicated to it.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? They check every single word.
Everything.
I'm saying, if you said am instead of and,
right.
do it again.
Right. Hey, did you? How about you move your hands on your pants? I can hear that. You got to do it again.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little things. Yeah. In the background. Well, it's a funny thing about recording drums. I'm going to say that unless it was a really soft song like you talked about, Liberty.
Yeah.
That never happened before, and that's the difference between, I guess, a person recording again something that's so soft and subtle versus going in and literally just pounding out a tune and so on. Right. I mean, I'm thinking that is the main difference for a drummer recording. Audio. Literally, a singer would probably be a little bit more sensitive to it. I'm guessing. I have no idea, but you guys weren't exactly on the mic all the time, right?
It was just weird,
It's just weird. Well, listen. I want to make sure we get a good plug in there for you and so on. It's still available. It's still on Amazon. I checked it out today. There is an audio version as well. Tell me a little bit about, I know you've been, obviously it's just a really strange time in the world. It's back and forth. You're starting to go out to play some gigs and then you're pulled back and so on. How has most of 2021 been for you, Liberty? Just a little update on maybe you got out and did some gigs. I know that. And obviously I think 2022, maybe there's something on the horizon, but where are you at with that right now?
Fortunately, I did a lot of studio stuff in 21. Richie Cannata's studio, he gets calls from people, they want to do the demos. Where Kenny has the studio in his house, if you want him to play drums on your track, you send the track to him, he does it in his house, send it out. I go to Richie's studio, we do it over there. And so I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. He's got a full-blown, like old school, big room where the band plays, so you're really separated. And I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And I have this little, she's almost 5. And so being a dad for the second time, because I have 3 other daughters that are older, I really enjoyed like staying home and being with this little one this time, And, with my relationship now with Billy Joel, we go back and forth with emails and stuff like that. And we meet for lunch now and then and stuff like that. And we just have a lot of laughs. And the last time I saw him, I said, look, we'll get together again. We're going to eat. We're not going to play. We're going to eat. And he just said, I'm good to eat. I'm good.
Listen, that's fantastic. Again, I think everyone, I know for me, because you've answered those questions 1,000 times, and it's laid out beautifully in your book, obviously. So I want people to go out and obviously pick up the book and hear that, steer away from those questions. But I'm really glad that you added that piece, that you guys are still in touch, you connect, and somewhere in the future, obviously,
Well,
get back together.
we all have this thing that happens. Like when the book came out, a lot of guys wrote and said, "Yeah, the same thing happened to me. This happened to me." Falling out with the leader. And it was like I just wanted to. I wanted to look from standing in Billy's shoes with the book. Like, why? The guy's had a career for 40, 50 years now.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta change. And sometimes you hurt. Like he said in the beginning in the forward, we were like family, and like families hurt each other. We don't mean to, but it just happens sometimes,
Sure, and that's a very powerful reminder right there as we hit into the season where people are going to get together. They're going to see family. You might not see them all the time under really weird circumstances, stressful circumstances, and this is a time to kind of reflective, like you said. I remember you saying that about in an interview that you fell in love with the music again. You started playing with the the Lord's 52nd, and you fell in love with the songs, and you thought, "Geez, I'm estranged from the guy who wrote the songs that I recorded them with." And I love that sentiment.
The guy I looked at for 30 years, looked him in the eyes when we played live, looked him in the eyes when we played in the studio, and he wasn't there anymore, or I didn't talk to him,
Right.
And it was,
It's like a divorce.
Kenny knows.
No, that shit never happened with me. Me and John are tight. John loves me. I mean,
but
that guy calls me up every day. I'm joking.
You know the story too.
Boy, do I know that. I know part of your story, and I definitely know my story. I mean, it's being in a band. I mean, it's just. I remember when I broke up, when I left John, and it was, my own version of what, Liberty went through. And I remember I was doing a session with Mike Campbell from Tom Petty. And I was going like, God damn, man. I was all emotional about it. And he just went, just being in a band.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Just being in a band. And I was like, wow. He's just basically saying, bands, look at, even John said, we were young. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. He said I would have done things differently when he was referring to me and him. I mean, we were young. I mean, we don't know shit.
That's the thing. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. You don't know what's the backstory. You don't know, again, everyone sees it through their own masks and filters.
Yeah.
So even at your level, and that's what I think that's a great message for people hearing this in their lives or business, whatever, even at Liberty's level and Kenny's level, it's still about humans and relationships and so on.
When you're young, it's all about you. You know what? There's two bits of advice I give about stuff like this, which I definitely didn't know back then. Don't assume anything. You don't know what that person's going through. That guy's yelling at you, but maybe he just lost a child or something. I mean, I'm just saying you can't assume anything and don't take anything personal. That's a hard one. But if you can somehow not take everything personal, because you don't really know what's going on with that other person. It's hard. It's really hard when someone comes up to you and says, you're an asshole, to not take it personal, and hits you on the head. But I'm just saying, ultimately, you don't want to take it personal.
No,
you don't mean that. Boom. No, you don't mean that, do you?
Billy was yelling at everybody once, but he's looking right at me, and he's yelling at everybody for doing something. And I stopped him, and I said, "Why are you looking at me while you're yelling?" He goes, "Oh, well, you're the drummer. You're in the middle of the band. You're in the middle. I mean."
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. I can see where you are.
Really, you're just in the middle.
I see that. Hey, Liberty, I wanted to, part of Red TV. Always, I love to kind of move in different directions with people, just because, again, I'd love to get to know people in a different way. And you mentioned about your other kids, your other children, and so on. And I want to play you something, a little clip that I saw, because I just think we're in that time of the year and so on. And I didn't know this about your beautiful daughter, and for people that don't know, his daughter is an amazing actress, producer, actually a philanthropist as well. And so I'm going to play this little clip for you that I found today, and I want to come back and just ask you a little bit about it. Okay, so just let me bring up this little clip of Tori I found today.
It's funny. Whenever I've gotten deterred by the business or really frustrated, I remember the things that really are important to me. And I remember that the more and more I grow my craft and my business and my name, the more and more I can help shine light on the things that really matter to me. And that really keeps me going sometimes. Currently, I do hospice work and I do stuff with rescue animals. I'm on the board of directors of this amazing organization called 𝗖𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃, which teaches kids about sexual consent and assault. And these things that I do, like the hospice, I get to actually volunteer. I do inpatient care. So I get assigned a patient and I'm with them until they pass on. And with 𝗖𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃, I get to go to these schools and actually do breakout sessions and talk to these kids one-on-one. And it just reminds you of like what is important.
Wow. So that's just incredible.
Bravo.
Yeah, bravo. I mean, and you know, obviously, the fruit normally doesn't fall too far from the tree. So what? Where does that?
Yeah, I'm really glad my wife cheats on me.
She's a beautiful human being, but obviously, she's been around you. So I mean, I'm sure that some of that spirit comes from you.
She's great. All my girls are great. My oldest one is a registered nurse. I mean, she was on the front lines when COVID hit the first time. And then there's Tori, and then there's my other one, Marielle, who just made me a grandfather, for the first time.
Fantastic,
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, so it's really, and then there's the little one now that I always wanted. When the girls were small, I always wanted them to be older so they could hang out with me, and I got that wish. But then when they got big, I wish they were little again so I could like play with them and tickle them and stuff. And now I have that again. So I have the best of both worlds.
You have the best of both worlds. But I just want to say I'm definitely reaching out to your beautiful daughter to talk about that, because philanthropy and just for someone to use their social currency that she has, such as yourself, such as Kenny, and to use that as a force for good.
Yeah, well, she's doing very well. She's actually dating the manager of the Chicago Cubs now.
Whoa!
Okay.
Traitor to be the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
wait, at least it's not the Mets.
At least it's not the Mets. Yeah.
No, that's a really powerful story. And Kenny, I hope this resonates just in the most positive way I can say. This is I fall in love with your family and so on, and this is your first year. Your mom, bless her soul, she's just a beautiful person. I just so loved her, and she has crossed over this year and so on. And this is going to be your first Christmas, kind of moving into that direction. How's things have kind of a little bit changed with your family that way?
Well, I mean, it's weird. It's sad I lost my mom, and with my dad, it was like, it was my dad, and he made sure, hey, it's okay, man, it's gonna be cool. With my mom, though, I used to call her up every day during the COVID for 2 years. Every day I'd call her up as I'm going to the studio. Or my mom was the biggest cheerleader. I hate to say it, I could probably strangle somebody and kill them, and she'd go, I don't think that was a good idea. I love you, man. What are you going to have for dinner tonight? She was just that ultimate mother that just loves her kids, and they came first over everything. So it's weird when I go like, oh shit, can't call her. So I didn't know what I was going to feel like. You don't know how you're going to feel to lose somebody until you lose them. So yeah, I miss my mom, but I'm not crying or depressed or anything. I just miss my mom, right? But I got recordings of her on the on the cell phone, and Peter kept bringing my mom on Liberty for these type of things. She'd be in your shoes, and he kept saying, dude, we got to bring your mom on because you're gonna be so grateful that you recorded her talking. And she's hilarious, man. She was hilarious. She's like that classic New York, fuck off, these are my kids are more important than yours. Very, very strong opinion about everything. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It's weird. I remember when my parents passed away, and we had Christmas, and I'm around the table with the family and everything like that. The weird thing is that you look around the table and you go, "Wow, I'm them now. Now I'm in their spot."
Right.
You know, I'm the oldest one, the elder at the table now.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is.
That's
It is
weird.
strange. You know, as we
That's
get older,
weird.
we're watching, you know, parents get older. We watch friends and family that are older that go through, you know, all kinds of either health issues or life issues, and people moving on. And you're right. You kind of sit back and go, "Wow, I didn't think it was going to go that fast." Do you feel like that now, Liberty? Do you still feel like the 25-year-old playing drums these days, or are you comfortable where you are right now?
You know, last time we had lunch, me and Billy Joel were talking about the 19-year-old that's still inside. You know, and Billy was like, sometimes I want the 19-year-old kid to go away. Just go away. And I said, well, when I get up there and I play and you put a couple of girls in the front row and you pick one out and the 19-year-old really helps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that 19-year-old is still there. And I know when me and Kenny get together, I mean, we're like stupid junior high school kids, like idiots, and just having a blast and having a great time.
Well, that's what music does, doesn't it? I mean, music, it supersedes, not only religion and language and borders and stuff, but even time, and time. And that's why I was saying when you guys we were talking about weddings earlier, it's just that there's not a wedding out there or a party that you can't go to where you don't hear Kenny playing or Liberty. Right. And to be frank with you, either of you guys, I can't turn on the radio and there's always one of you guys are playing something. And,
right. It's funny. My wife said today, I know friends. You become friends with everybody in the business, and you're friends with Bernard Purdy, you're friends with 𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗁, you're friends with all these people. And my wife said to me today, when I said, "I'm doing this with Kenny," and she goes, "Out of all the friends that you have through drumming, Kenny's the only one I haven't met yet."
Really?
Yeah.
You mean in person or just even like now? Like even just, like not even
just hasn't met Kenny in person yet.
There's a reason.
I talk about you all the time. She'd probably fall in love with you, right? And she'd leave me for you.
Yeah, but I don't need a fourth wife, so no worries.
Yeah.
If you don't strike three, you're out. You're out.
Well, hey, we should know how to do it by now, right? I mean, 3 times each. Come on.
Yeah, practice like practicing drums,
Yeah.
Kenny, I want to jump back, Kenny, to make sure I don't just bypass all the things that you're doing as well. I know you have the book, so the audio book is back out. I think there's a really cool thing that just tell us a little bit about. I know that you got some really cool. You're doing some playing with Satriani, of course. Fogerty's back on the road. Supersonic Blues Machine. Just fill everybody in a little bit about what you're doing. I don't want to
Well, I mean, I was supposed to go on tour, a whole world tour with Satriani before the COVID. We did a record, and whoop, that didn't happen. So they just moved all the dates to, I guess they moved them to 2021, and then, or maybe we were supposed to do 2021. Now they got moved to 2022. Now we're wondering, are we going to be able to go to Europe in April and do 9 weeks? Because, who knows? So that decision has to be, we have to see how this whole new Omicron thing is doing. But we're supposed to do that, and there's Fogerty dates are already in January and February and March. And there's this band that do Supersonic, but we don't know because, the singer lives in England. He, I don't know if the English if the UK will let him come to the USA. This is like early in January. So everything is like, you just got to go with the flow. Thank God I got my studio so I can always record in there. Right. I do have some speaking events coming up, but who knows? I got one January 18th in Denver. So who knows, but there's a lot of stuff that's on the table, and I'm supposed to do. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the speaking, I just want to make sure everyone understands, because again, I've watched your progress with your studio, and to your point, Liberty, not only is it a recording studio, but Kenny's turned it into really a virtual event center. It's a place where you can kind of do virtual speaking events and so on, and you're doing a great job at that, Kenny. You got a couple of them coming up. I just want to make sure people see that, and of course, along the bottom right there, they can reach out to Chris at Cal so even if this starts shutting down, there's still going to be a lot of virtual events. Everybody, your business, corporate things. I just want to get a quick little plug there for Kenny and his speaking stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and also the Legend series. Tell us a little bit about that, because the Modern Drummer magazine that Liberty posted was the kind of triggered this whole conversation here. But you're doing a Legend series.
Well, it came out. I mean, if it wasn't over, it's over there. I could get it. But yeah, when the COVID hit, they hit me up for this Legend series thing, and I went, "Oh yeah." You know, you could say in 2 seconds, "Yeah, I'll do that," and then 18 months later, you know, it's like you're pulling the hair out of your head. Well, in my case, you're pulling the skin off your head. But the thing is that yeah, it's a 150-page book, and it's got a lot of my handwritten charts. All the covers I did a Montgomery and then a new interview, and it's got something in there that most people don't know about me. So there was a moment there when I was a kid that in my family we all had to go to. That was the thing. We all go to college. I studied classical music. In my senior year, I did a violin concerto on marimba, and it was something I had to practice 2 hours a day for a whole year. And I was trying to emulate 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗲𝗄, the Israeli violinist. And when I finally performed it, my teacher said, "I want you to enter a concerto competition." I did, and I won. So I performed this piece with a 60-piece orchestra in an opera hall at Indiana University that's bigger than the New York Met. And holy shit, man. So at 22, I did that. And so that's in the book. There's a little, you can, what do you call it? You can,
Is there an audio clip? There's an audio clip of it. Is there not?
No, it's a link.
Oh, okay.
It's
There's a link there. Okay, got
and
it.
it goes through it. And people go, "There's no freaking way Kenny did that. It doesn't, it's nothing, has nothing, there it is. Has
Look at those
nothing
arms,
to do.
man. Look at those arms.
I know, man.
Right? Look at that guy. He's a monster. It's just a monster. And he's talking about hitting the drums hard. Look at the.
Well, anyway, that marimba piece is gorgeous, and it's very, very technical. And anybody who knows my background would probably doesn't know I did that, because when you got into rock and roll, you didn't tell people you played classical music. I mean, you didn't tell people you could even read. It's not cool. But I did it, and so we decided. The reason why it's in there is I sent it to the guy who's probably the head guy. He was telling me how he plays marimba still. I went, "Wow, man, that's incredible, man. I did a violin concerto once." He said, "You did? Send it to me." I sent it to him, and he went, "Holy shit, we're putting that in your book." And I thought, "Oh my God, that'd be cool, because nobody knows I did that."
That's fantastic. Oh, it is great having that. And not to be outdone, by the way, just so you know, not to be outdone. Not a chance. There he is. The man.
Oh my God. Look at
the man, the legend.
He destroyed that kit too. That guy destroys all his kits. Look at that thing.
You know, I got my Promark endorsement because of that picture. They said, "You put our sticks on the front cover."
Can you go back to that time, Liberty? I mean, what was that? That's July of '88. I think it was 88 at that time.
88. What were we doing? I think we just came back from the Soviet Union, or we were just going, or something like that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I'm just looking at the name. It's always fun to see the names that are also on there. You know, like Ronnie Tut's on there, and Greg.
Oh my God,
right?
2 of them are dead. Carlos Vega's dead. Ronnie Tut's dead. I don't know Mick Brown. Who's Mick Brown?
I have no idea.
They say he's from Dawkins.
Dawkins. He's from Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins drummer. Absolutely.
And we know who Greg is. Greg is
still alive. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Greg's like us, right? He's got no hair, right?
You
know, I gotta say this. Like, I love the way these guys play, but the Dave Abernathy, Taylor Hawkins, and Dave Grohl, man, I am sick of them whipping their hair around when they're playing. That makes me sick. Let me tell you something.
Kid.
Those are like flipping sticks and stuff like that. They're just whipping their hair around. We gotta play our asses off. They can whip their hair around. The girls fall on the floor for them. It's ridiculous. I'm sick of it.
I love it.
Plus, they look like rock stars, and we look like some lawyer or accountant.
You guys are.
Yeah, like
you guys.
You walk into the hall and it's like, "Oh, you're the accountant for the band?" No, I'm the drummer. Or you don't look like them.
I got that once. I remember I got that once. Are you the I had a briefcase. Are you the accountant? I went, "Were you watching the show?" They said, "Yeah." Did you notice there was a bald guy up there?
Right. Yeah. I get like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" "I'm a drummer." "Oh, you're a jazz musician?" "No, I'm rock and roll." I don't have that.
I get it. Hey, here's a question for you guys. I just want something thrown up here. It's probably you've heard it before, but worth talking about a little bit. Studio versus the gigging. Obviously, the gigging gives you more freedom, I'm thinking. But Liberty, what do you think of that? Studio versus gigging.
Well, studio is more. I love hearing. It's an out of the body experience because you play a part. You're the drummer playing, and then you get the opportunity to go inside and listen to what you just played. And as the third person, you're judging what you just played. You're judging yourself. You know, like, yeah, that was cool. Oh, I can do it better. Or, you know, when live, it's like one shot, boom, you do it. You know, you feel it in your soul that, yeah, this is really good. We're really cooking tonight.
Yeah. Kenny, how about yourself?
Well, I mean, I always try to make everything when I record sound live, and everything I do live, I want to be good enough that it could be a recording. But it's always got to be amazing. And it's just like a running back, man. They don't get touchdowns every time. They're trying to get in that end zone their whole career. So I got this line, I'll never be as great as I want to be, but I'm willing to spend the rest of my life trying to be as great as I can be. And man, if you record yourself in in the studio, you'll be humbled immediately about how I'm always trying to be. I mean, you never can be as perfect as you want. You know, I mean, it's just you're just reaching for that goal all the time. And I don't mind that. That's cool.
You know, it's funny you said that. You got some great quotes because, you know, I know you're an idiot like I am, but I don't read books. And you didn't read my book, so I didn't read yours either. So, but you're in it. You're in mine. I quote you when you said, I heard you tell some kid, never turn down a gig because you never know who you're going to meet. And bam. When I heard that, it was like, that's so true, man. How many gigs did you didn't want to go to because it's like, oh, this is going to suck. This is going to be done. And all of a sudden, there's a guitar player. It's like, whoa, dude, let's start a band, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you aren't kidding.
Yeah. I just noticed here in a comment here from a really good friend of mine. He lives in California, down your way, Kenny. And he talked about, hi to Kenny. I met him at Mind Valley event. So you were at a Mind Valley event.
Oh, I know, Daniel. Absolutely. Daniel, Daniel, how you doing? Yeah, I was a speaker. There was 20 speakers, and I was one of them. And Daniel lives between me and San Diego. And he's got a whole bunch of books, and he's got a whole
he's exactly. He's like from Hay House. He's a very super beautiful writer and a very spiritual guy. I just love his energy being around him. So so Mind Valley. I didn't know you did it. I didn't know you did that, Kenny. I didn't know that you did that. That's fantastic. Just looking, trying to find a couple more comments here. Let's see. I love this. Don't take it personal. Yeah, great advice. We'll have to be comfortable with ourselves, not to care what others say. But you know, when you're playing, like you said, Kenny, I think you said it, and Liberty. I mean, let's face it. When the band leader comes over to you and says something, I mean, I know. I'll just speak for myself. I find it hard to separate when someone says don't take it personal, because I'm thinking, well, you're talking about something I'm doing, which means that's me, and it's me, and I can't separate it. So you are talking about me. So I'm guessing you guys have been through it so much now that it's second nature.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, like, let's just say whoever my boss is at the time, and they're like really having. Let's say my boss is having a really hard time on stage with his monitors. So all of a sudden, if I do one thing he doesn't like, it's like, you know, because he's already going through hell himself. That's the part where you don't take it personal. It's hard not to, because I'm saying, I want to say, hey, listen, mofo, you know.
Well, that was a term of endearment. He uses just so everyone knows. I've known Kenny long enough. Liberty, you know this. Mofo is, you know, if he didn't, it's kind of like it's a term of endearment for him.
I mean, don't cross the line either.
Yeah. I'm gonna think it's kind of like Billy the Kid. He said, "I never stole a horse from a man I didn't like." So Kenny won't call you mofo unless he likes it. There you go. So hey, listen, I got a special guest here. It's Christmas time. It's family time. I would be remiss if I did not reach out to some family member here. I'm going to reach out to Tori one day, Liberty, that's for sure. But
don't reach too far.
No, yeah. No, won't be doing that. But this has got to be argument. Well, you can flip a coin. She's gonna probably
better not be no ex-wives.
No ex-wives.
No.
But argument. You could have an argument to say that she's the smartest Aronoff. That's for sure. She's definitely the best looking. There's no doubt about that.
It's my sister. You got Nina,
right? Look at this beautiful soul. There she is.
Wow. Wow.
What? My sister.
How
That's
are
a
you, Nina?
I'm good, and I'm done with grading, so I'm really happy. My graduate students are happy. I'm happy. I'm gonna sleep now. Hey, Kenny, nice
You
and
look
bright.
good.
I
Yeah.
just got off the bike. I just got out of the shower. I'm feeling pretty good.
You look great, man.
An honor to be on with you, Liberty. Love your playing.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I know who got all the looks in the family.
Right?
All the hair. All the hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful hair day. You got a great hair day going on, just so you know.
This
Yeah,
is
that's-
Kenny, hair on off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hair on off.
Nina on, hair on.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
really a treat. Really a treat. Good time to be connecting. Kenny's
It is.
he's a good brother. He calls me a lot. I can't call him because I never know when in the 5 minutes that he's free. Because the man
Yeah.
works like a beast.
I started calling Nina immediately every day after Mom died because it was like the ritual. And most of the time I'd get Nina at the end because Mom wasn't, so I'd speak to Nina and did you hear any of the conversation, Nina, how yeah, man, it's weird.
Oh, no, I
It's
don't
like,
know. I've actually only been on for about 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
yeah, I was just saying how, for me, and you've heard me say this, losing Dad, it was kind of more acceptable for me because Dad kind of went, yeah, man, I'll be all right. Yeah, and I felt that. But Mom's the type, she's the one that if someone threw a snowball at me, when I was 5, she took snowballs and beat the shit out of somebody. And, she did. And then I was hysterical because she threw snowballs that they might have been my enemies, but they were kids. And I thought, like, what are you doing? But Mom was always in our corner and like at the highest level.
Mhm.
And so it's like, yeah. So I was telling them, I go to my studio, I'm going to call Mom. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Nina?
it's a little adjustment, but it's all good because Mom she was funny and goofy and kooky all the way to the end. Nina, I got to give her the applause because Nina spent a year living in a house where my mom wanted to die in her house, and Nina looked after her.
Yeah.
And so bravo, Nina.
My sister did the same thing with my parents. My mom went first before my
That's
dad.
big, man.
And I remember I felt like a 7-year-old when she passed away. Like, oh my God, my mother is gone. That she stuck, like you say, Kenny, she would stick up for me. Like Billy says in the song, she'd sit on my lap. Even if I was in the electric chair, she'd sit on my lap, know?
Yeah, exactly.
And to do what you did, Nina, my sister did the same thing with my parents.
So what's the matter with you guys?
But we have careers. Come on,
Hey,
Nina, we have careers.
Hey, you know what, Nina? There's a lot matter. There's a lot matter with us guys. We got a lot of problems. There's a lot.
We're not going to figure that out on this show, Nina. That's a whole nother show, just so you know. But Nina, I really appreciate you.
I was happy to do it, and I could move my work with me because I was remote. So it all worked out, and you never get what your folks are doing for you when you're little. And Elaine Ross, wow, yeah. So it's good to give back. It's good to give back, and it's good to stay together as family. The Kenny and my other brother and I we're close, we're connected, and that makes a difference too.
My mom's biggest 2 wishes, and one of them was, this is my mom. She literally had a meeting about 3 years before she passed on, said, listen, I need to know that you kids will communicate with each other when I'm gone. It's like, I'm like, well, of course we will. But to her, she wants to know that, even when she's gone, she wants to make sure we're still a family. That's so heavy. Heavy.
Nothing more important to her. And she didn't have all of that when she was growing up. So she was really intent on making that happen. It says a lot about intention.
I love that word. It's a great word, powerful.
When you turn it into action, like you and Kenny, well, Peter, you're no slouch, but you know, you make that commitment to something that you really want to do. And my mom did a lot, you know, she was a teacher and did a lot of other things, but having a family and keeping it together was the most important thing in the world to her. So she asked about that a lot at the end. Like, are you really going to be okay? Are you really going to be good together? Are you really going to take care of each other? And
yeah, I got to tell you guys something here while we're live. Just you guys already know, I wouldn't dare do it now because, and I had some. I just didn't want to. Life's emotional enough right now for everybody. But I captured so many great recordings, as you say, Kenny, not just from the show, just so you guys know. As you both know, I would call your mom every now and then, and she would. I asked her every time. I said, "Listen, do you mind if I record while we're just chatting here?" And she goes, and she used to say right away, "Well, who would want to listen to this?" and all that. I just said, "Listen, I promise you, someone will." And I was always thinking about you two and Jonathan, of course. But I can tell you something, and I mean this sincerely. As you go into the holiday season, I can't tell you how 90% of our conversation, anytime we were talking, she'd ask me a couple of questions. And as soon as I always ask about you guys and what do you do, she couldn't say enough about how super proud she was of you guys. I can't, I don't have the vocabulary to tell you. She was so proud of the highest level of achievement that you've done for your careers and your education. She was so proud of the education part. Kenny, she was so proud of, again, the education part. You were a classically trained musician as well, let alone, doing what you're doing now. But that's all she spoke about. I just want you to know that she thought you three are just, she's so proud. And I just envied that because I don't have my mom either anymore. And so having that person around, she was 90, she was sharp as a tack. Every time I spoke with her, she understood sarcasm. She threw it back with me, and she was just an awesome person.
I'll have to say, the last week, she thought I played tuba.
Oh yeah.
Did she?
Yeah, and
well, it's because he kept feeding her lines.
Yeah, the last time I spoke to her, Nina had the phone, like literally 36 hours before she died. Yeah. I go, now listen.
Oh, no, that was about 12 hours before. Yeah.
So I said, listen, maybe it was 12 hours. I said, listen, Mom, I'm coming home tomorrow. But remember, I'm the drummer. You play the tuba. She went,
I know that laugh. I have that recorded. Like I said, I'll let you guys know right now. I told you privately. I have some beautiful recordings.
Dude,
I'm
going
to make sure you have those, and and it's just me and her chatting, and it's really like almost
you were beautiful with her on the show. That was a thrill for her to be able to do this with you and be on with Kenny, and then be on with me and Kenny, and it was just such a treat for her. I mean, especially, you figure not leaving the house because of COVID, and then not leaving because she wasn't strong enough, and there was like the big wide world, and being part of Kenny's world was, I mean, it wasn't a year before we were going to hear Kenny live, so
right.
It's all good. So I'm thrilled that we had those experiences, and that you taped some of it is just gravy, man. That's
how old was your mom when she passed?
95.
Okay, so they're the old school. The World War II.
Yep, exactly. Grew up in the Bronx.
They're called the greatest generation because they were the greatest generation. There will never be another generation like that.
Your folks,
yeah.
And it's it really is something. We as kids, we talk about it a lot. Like, I teach, and Kenny teaches and meets a lot of young people, and John's on his third set of stepchildren, whatever, and it's just really different.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever be as strong as they were, but
never.
I
remember.
Well, you have to realize
my dad was in World War II. He was in 101st Airborne, Battle of the Bulge, Invasion of Normandy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, woo!
When I saw Private Ryan, Saving Private Ryan, I went home and I called him up and I said, Dad, I can't believe what you did. And I was crying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Your dad did all. I'm a huge. I'm very into World War II, and I think that our parents that came out of that whole time, it was a black and white world, and then all of a sudden they saved us from speaking German and Japanese, and we all had a purpose, and nobody cared. We all were trying to rebuild families, and we were grateful to be a family, and everybody was about learning and growing, and it was the beginning of this huge thing, and now we're at this next phase, which is not that, but that was oh my God, I think that it's amazing.
They got a because they were white, they got a lot of help from the government, and they got to make their lives better, and then their kids' lives better, and that's not possible anymore either in the same way, and that's
well,
it's really different.
Yeah,
really different.
Nothing stays the same. Liberty, your grandfather come from Italy or anything?
Yeah, Liberty.
Where did your grandparents come?
My grandparents came from Italy.
See, so our grandparents came from Russia, Romania, Russia and Romania. So I mean, this is and when they came here, they were so grateful. And America was literally,
and they were kids. They were kids. They came as young teenagers.
Yeah, nothing in their pockets, just this big vision.
My grandmother came from Italy and never saw her parents again. She, a lot of them came from the old world.
Our grandparents,
and they never went home again. They never saw their parents again.
Actually, there's a sweet story in our family that's related to that. Not a hard story. Where when my parents were pregnant with my brothers, who were born before me. They didn't know they were having twins, and at that point, they didn't do ultrasound. So the doctor, like a month before they were born, and they were born premature, heard 2 heartbeats, and he hadn't been able to hear them because they were right on top of each other. And he flipped out, and so he went and he took an X-ray. This is what they would do. They would take X-rays. Excellent. That's why they're so messed up. Yeah. And he said, "You're going to have twins," and they were stunned because there were no twins. There were no twins in any part of the family. They didn't know what to do. Peter, have you heard this story before?
I know, no, not the X-ray one. I never heard that.
So they had their twins, and then my mom was, really wanted a girl. Talk about force of nature. She got her girl. Doctor said, the chance of having multiple birth again is really high. She was like, but I want a girl. So she had me, but it wasn't for years before we found out, because when our grandparents came over, they had what was in their pockets, and they didn't talk about the old country that much.
No, they didn't.
They talk about like food and things like that, but it was like, man, life was hard, and with our family, Jews, they were all escaping death. So
I wanted to ask Liberty.
Found out years and years later, because they didn't talk about that history, that there were actually twins on both sides of the family.
What?
On both dads and one side of the family, but that nobody talked about because they had either been left behind or died before they could leave.
You know what, Nina? Now that you say that story, I think I have that somewhere. You just triggered my memory when she said no one knew on the other side. That triggers.
Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah, nice. Liberty, I wanted to ask you, and we were talking about Kenny's mom, of course, and it's only because, again, we met her and the spirits there. And you talked about the difficulty of having your mom pass. Was it a similar sort of loss within your family in the sense of that glue, that center, that anchor, that whole center that kept everything together? Was it?
My mother was it. My dad, my dad wanted to be a career criminal when he was younger. My mother made him become a policeman.
Wow. You're a cop, man. Okay.
My mother used to come to shows, and she would have a T-shirt on, and in the front it said, "My son is," and on the back it says, "Billy Joel's drummer." And she would hold up a sign that said "Mom," so I would know where she is in the crowd. And sometimes it was upside down and it said "Wow."
Oh, that's great.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
And you said you had a similar.
It's that old school that I'm talking about. They were all the same. They were all the same.
Yeah, and I was just saying about the idea what Kenny and Nina are talking about is that this sense during the holidays. Now that you have a young family, you have a nice mix of family, obviously, and now you just mentioned you're the elder statesman, if you will, at the table.
That's right.
So do you feel that role within your family now, as sort of like your as a mom or father figure within as that matriarch or patriarch, if you will?
That's who we are now. That's who we are. We are the, when your children call you and they want advice, you're that person. I can't call my mom and dad anymore. I'm the one that, that's it. That's it. You're sitting at the head of the table and you're looking around and you're going, I'm next.
Yeah.
Do you have any recordings? Do you have any audio, like video recordings of her? I'm just curious if you kept those kinds of things.
When I was doing my book, it was just going to start out as a family history for my children, and I have recordings of my father, my aunts, my mother. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, see, that's always fantastic. Just mention here, Bill told me my best buddy's uncle died last year, World War II vet, 97 years old.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I went to eat with him every day. God love you, Bill. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Much respect for that generation. And Kenny, you said it jokingly, but we always say it jokingly. So we could all be speaking differently, or everything could have been different because people stepped up at a very young age and did some things that I know. I can speak for myself. I just don't know if I would have had the courage to do that. Nina, please stick around a little bit because we're going to jump around real quick because these two guys, I know these guys have got Christmas. Kenny's got Christmas shop. Liberty said he got Christmas shopping to do, just so you know. I hope his wife's not watching right now because you are in real big trouble. You're in real big trouble.
I haven't even started. I ain't done jack.
Hours, you're fine.
There you go. There you go. I'm going to call someone who found out that I was going to be chatting with you, and this person is a drummer, and I just want to chat with him here and see if you. Kurt Hamilton. Kurt Hamilton, is this you, my friend? How are you? How are you? Kurt Hamilton is he's a friend of mine, and he found out that you guys were going to be on. He's a drummer. He's been playing, so he's a recovering drummer, I think is what he's a recovering. He's a recovering, and he's lived in England for about 30 years, back in Canada, but a big fan of both Liberty and Kenny. And Kurt, I just wanted you to come on and ask a question of these guys. I'm glad you had the opportunity to connect you guys.
I can't hear him. Do you hear him?
I hear the cops coming after somebody.
Yeah, that's not my window.
That's New York, man.
Hey, I'm in Brooklyn.
That's New York.
I'm in Brooklyn. You're getting used to it.
Liberty, they're coming after you.
Kurt, go ahead, my friend. Go ahead with a question for Kenny and Liberty.
Where is he? I don't hear him.
Is he an ice skater? Who is the Hamilton skater?
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of a mix of two skaters.
Yeah, I know he's not Scott Hamilton. You're thinking of Scott.
Dorothy Hamlin.
No, he's not that. He's not that.
Scott Hamilton. He was Canadian, right? No, he's American.
No, both of them were United Statesians.
Yeah.
Hey, Nina, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because this used to happen in my family. My sister was the next in line. I was the oldest, and then there was my sister, and then two other brothers. But my sister's girlfriends really liked me. Did that happen with Kenny? And because you had older brothers?
There's 4 years. It's funny. I don't think I've ever been asked that. Did that happen, Kenny? I don't remember that. I liked all of their friends.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
hanging
think.
around musicians, right?
Nothing sticks out. That would have been awkward.
Well,
No, but I don't. Now with my brother, there were a lot of girls that I thought liked me, but they actually liked him. I'm like, what's the difference?
they got it a lot, but no, that's funny. I don't know why that didn't happen.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
So hold that thought. Hold that thought, you two. Kurt, go ahead. Go ahead with your question, my friend. I don't want you. Someone's got. No, these guys are just like I'll just remove myself and let them keep. No, go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
I still don't hear him.
I mean, I'm deaf, but I'm that deaf. I can't hear him.
You can't hear him? Can you not hear the question?
No.
No.
Oh, you
I
guys
didn't
can't hear the
no,
question.
no,
Oh, they're not
no.
hearing the question right now. I wonder why they're not hearing the question. Oh,
Did you
know
hear
what?
the question?
Are you guys not hearing? You're not hearing him at all?
No.
Let's just give him an answer, like if we
No.
heard it. My answer is fried fish.
Kurt, stay with me. I'll get this figured out. I'll get this figured
Fried
out.
fish.
Hey,
I'll
Liberty, are
get
you
this figured
deaf
out.
too?
I wear hearing aids, yeah. Both.
I know, no, I'll get it figured out. It's my mistake. My mistake. There's something going on here that's not connecting Kurt right now with the question. I'll get that sorted out for you guys. Hey, you know why I have you guys, and Nina, this is great that you're here too, because again, part of just the show is that I wanted for you guys to have some fun and just be a little bit light about it. We talked a little about Kenny. You got so much on the go, so I super appreciate your time and stuff. But we never really go and get a chance to just have some fun and just talk about stuff that's nothing to do with music. Tonight was great because we're talking about family and we're talking about different things, and we're talking about New York Christmas, which is fantastic, and of course California Christmas is a little different. Massachusetts, are you getting snow over there, Nina? You getting snow over that way?
We've had like the warmest December ever. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I ride a motorcycle. I was riding up until, I don't know, a week or two ago, and it's
Right.
it's just gotten cold. It's just gotten cold, and no
Wow.
real snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to find out a little bit more about these two. And Nina, you can play along. It's it's 2 minutes. It'll take 2 minutes to run through it. We're just gonna have some fun.
If that's better.
It's just a little this or that. And I gotta have a little. Okay, just a little this or that right there. Here we go. Little this or that. No right or wrong. I just want to know a little bit more about you guys. So let people inside. They know your story, they know your career, but they don't know these questions. I bet we're going to find it. So I already know this for Kenny, but we'll try it. We'll go right around. We'll go from Kenny, then Liberty, and Nina. You jump in on this one, okay? Here we go. We'll jump in on this one. Whiskey or wine? Whiskey or wine?
Both.
Of course.
Great answer.
Yeah, she's laughing because she knows. Whiskey, then wine.
There you go.
Sorry,
Liberty?
that's my answer. Whiskey, then wine.
Neither. Left those friends behind.
All right, that's right. That's right.
Good.
Nina?
More for me.
Yeah.
Also left them behind, but whiskey.
There you go. Okay. And this is not a chauvinist thing because I know Nina's going to jump on this right away. So, but just so you know, I'm aware of it.
This is going to be a good one.
No, Spider-Man or Batman? Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Batman.
I knew you were gonna be I knew you were gonna be Batman. I knew it. Which one? Which one did you like the best?
Bruce Wayne.
Because Batman has like the car and
Yeah, it's a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool
Spider-Man
belt.
climbs up
But you have to,
walls.
but you have to
nice
figure out.
butler. I like the butler.
All right.
Yeah,
How about this
Michael-
one? Yeah, the Butler's good. How about this
But-
one? 60s music or 80s music?
Oh wow! I'll
easy.
go with 60s.
60s.
I'm
60s.
gonna go with 60s.
All right.
Oh,
Stones or Beatles?
Oh, that's tough. But if I have to
That's
make
Biggie for
tough.
me.
Oh.
Beatles. Beatles.
I'm gonna have to pick the Beatles if I have to. Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'm sure. Okay,
That's-
that's surprising. Nina?
that's a tough one.
Beatles for sure.
Beatles. Oh, wow.
You know what? I'll
I'm
tell you
surprised.
why. I bet you. Let me, if I can speak for all of us. I mean, the Beatles came. They did the Ed Sullivan Show. And it was like, bam. I mean,
Yeah.
the Stones kind of crept in, but the Beatles, it was such a big splash, and the look and the whole
Right.
thing.
So, Liberty, I know part of Kenny's story is obviously seeing Ringo play on that show. Was that a big influence for you as well? Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Changed my life. I was able to tell Ringo, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And they said, well, at least you're not blaming me for it.
There you go. There you go. How about this? We go out for a bite to eat somewhere. Chinese food or Italian food?
Italian. No choice. Not even a question. Italian.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's hard.
That's hard, eh? We lost Liberty. He'll be back. He
Che
just lost the first one.
cazzo dici, Nina? Che cazzo dici? That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about? It's Italy.
It's Italy.
If it's good, it's both. If it's good, it's all
Wow.
good.
Yeah, right. I'm okay. Fair enough. How about for traveling? I know both of you have traveled. I know Kenny, you've traveled so much, but you're on a plane a lot, so I don't know if you've. Anyway, Europe or the Caribbean? Europe or the Caribbean?
First class.
I'm
My
back.
answer is
I don't
first
know where
class.
I went. All of a sudden I was
Europe,
gone.
Europe or the Caribbean? It used to be Europe, but Caribbean sounds real nice right now.
Yeah.
Right. Liberty, how about your traveling? I know you traveled the world. Europe or the Caribbean?
My word for vacation is a V with palm trees, not with skis.
Ah, got it. Okay, so you like the sunshine. All right. Nina?
Yes.
Caribbean.
Europe, Spain.
Oh, right.
Spain.
Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, this is
See, that's okay. You gotta say what time of year, what part of the year, you know.
Time of year, then well, no, it'd still be Europe for me.
All right, there you go. How about this one? Sunrise or sunset?
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh, that's
I say sunset because every time I've seen the sunrise, it wasn't for a good reason.
You were like me, right, Kenny? You're like Dracula. Oh my God.
He was probably getting bailed out. Kenny, you're probably getting bailed out in the morning.
And we all know. And in the 80s, we all know what that meant too. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sunrise or sunset for you, Liberty?
Oh, I'm like Kenny, man. I used to be like he says in the 80s. It was like Dracula running to his room.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nina, so morning person, evening person. Yeah, like a sunrise or
Night.
Yeah.
Sunset. So there you go. You got like a sunset. How about this one? And this is just so different. I'm hoping, again, it's nothing to do with music, but it's more about interest and stuff. A day with Richard Branson on Necker Island to talk about the Virgin brand, or a day with Elon Musk to talk about Tesla and.
Oh God, that's interesting. Both are going to be interesting. Holy shit! I don't know. That's a tough one.
Have you met those guys? I'm sure you guys probably stumbled across them somewhere.
I have not met them. I'd be fascinated to meet any of them. Oh my God!
Yeah.
How do you decide? I don't know. Shit. I would almost go with Elon Musk now because he's like the new guy, the cutting edge. I'm curious he's like literally, there was a documentary called The Men That Changed America. So we're talking about, Carnegie Mellon that created the steel girder, that created commerce that went over the Mississippi. And then, of course, what's his name? Rockefeller, who created, gas, oil. And then what's his name? The Tesla and those guys that created electricity, they changed the world. Elon Musk is changing. He created an electric car, the electric goddamn car. I mean, and did it right, and he's putting people up in space. That he's just getting started. So I'm going to go with Elon. Yeah. I'd like to hang out and see what that brain is doing.
Yeah. Liberty, how about yourself, buddy?
Branson, like I would be like a dribbling idiot and be like, what's his name was on Saturday Night Live, and I'd ask him, were you really a virgin when you started the company?
I'm guessing not, but you never. That's a good question. Yeah. I'm guessing not, but it's a good question. How about yourself, Nina? Here's a question for you, Nina. Let me rephrase the one for you because I want to know this one.
I'm not that interested in either of those guys, although
I know. I was just going to say. So
I'd love to hear about the conversations, but I'd be with Branson because of the view.
Yeah. Okay,
there you go.
That's Necker Island. That's a pretty cool place.
But were you going to give me another option?
I was going to give you another option. I was going to ask you about whether you spend a day with Michelle Obama, talk about her book, things like that.
Yeah.
Right? Or someone like Oprah and talk about the people that you've met and all that kind of stuff.
Michelle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because because she really is committed to making the world a better place in a different way. I think Oprah is amazing and what she's accomplished is amazing, but I don't know. Michelle Obama.
It's amazing. And Nina, my daughter, now she's going to be 5 in February, and she watches this show. It's called Ada Scientist, Ada Twist Scientist. There's 3 books that were out. And Ada is a scientist, and Iggy Peck is an architect, and these 3 different books. Well, the Obamas have now produced it, I guess, and they made it into cartoons now. Ada Twist. Oh
yeah, they're producing films and
it's really cool.
That's great. That's great.
Fantastic.
We don't have enough of that yet.
Yeah.
We do need more of that. I agree with you. Speaking of what we need more in the world, how about these between these two? And I'm not sure. I don't think I've asked you guys this before. So, hope or freedom?
Hope or freedom?
I'm gonna go with freedom.
Wow.
I'm freedom. If you lose freedom, man, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, you could be in prison with hope.
You could be in prison with hope. You've been, yeah.
That's a good way
Then
of
you're-
putting it. That's a good. Whoa, there. That solidified it for me. Definitely. You know, I go with freedom because, man, when you're free, that cross the board is everything.
Mm.
You get to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom today is the snake eating its tail. It
Yeah,
feels
it's
like, though.
complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, no, this is
It's very complicated now.
Well,
you know, like
let's talk about the virtue. I'm thinking of the highest level of freedom. Ultimate freedom. What this country was built on, that freedom.
Right.
So I'll clarify.
yeah.
That
So,
what
Nina,
this
you're in
country was-
agreement?
I think if it is the highest form and we respect everybody's freedom without anarchy, yeah, not interested in anarchy.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
looking at the purest form. I mean,
well,
And
the
the
answer,
reverse of, and the reverse of what Liberty just said, Kenny, is about the idea you could be in prison and have hope, but you could also be free without hope. And I wonder if that's
right. That's right.
You know what
I
I'm
don't know.
going to say? If I have total freedom, I'll have plenty of hope. Because everything will be like your freedom to be who you are is what everybody really wants. Everybody wants.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming you're not hurting anybody, but the freedom to, where you're not having this. With the world we live in now, with the judgment, it's so much judgment. Well, the Declaration of Independence, which was like everybody's equal. Everybody, doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, purple. The ideals were very pure,
the ideals
and
of
I'm
it.
calling that freedom, where you have a right to you have the same right as anybody else to be successful, to go for it. Not everybody. Look, people aren't the same. We're not made the same. I mean, some people are smarter than others, and some people are just more physical, and the others aren't. But my point is freedom, where at least you can be the best that you can be. You can be the best that you can be, and nobody's going to get in the way.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, again, there's no right or wrong. That's the kind of it's just fun to hear your perspective of it. And
that was
and,
deep, Peter.
Well,
That's a deep question, Peter.
Yeah.
if we stay
if
on
you
that,
go
we're
with
gonna
hope,
be here
if
till
you go with hope,
sunrise.
it's because I just hope that this isn't the end of my career with this interview tonight.
Hey, Liberty, if we
What?
keep talking, it will be.
it will be if you keep going. Well, finish this one. I'll start with you, Liberty. Then with this last one, finish this sentence. This is the last one for you, Liberty. So it's all good. Finish this
Okay.
sentence for me. This will be for all time. We're recording it, so there you go. I love my life because
Because I have beautiful children. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kenny.
Boom.
I love my life because I'm really enjoying it.
Nina.
That's
Man.
a tough one.
I that is a really tough one. I love my life because I still have it.
There you go.
That's-
There you go.
yeah.
That's a good
Boom.
one.
Boom. Yeah,
There
there's the
you
mic
go.
drop. You just dropped the mic right there. Boom. You just
Yeah,
dropped the
that's a
mic.
good one.
I
You
love
know,
it.
you know what I've learned tonight? I've really learned tonight. If I was still drinking, I could sit on a bar stool with Nina. I think so. I think so.
That would be awesome.
I know what you mean by that, Liberty. I say that
Do you
too.
know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
The bar stool and go, "Hi, I'm Liberty.
Thank
Hi,
you.
I'm Nina." And you
I
just start
totally-
to talk, and the next thing you know, last call. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Speaking
you.
of that, Nina, do you have something near you to drink? Do you have like a glass of water, pop, or juice? Or...
I have the water I took off my bike that I hadn't finished.
Well,
So-
Liberty has his water. I know Kenny has
Yeah.
something there. So I want to let's do just a Christmas cheers to the three beautiful souls on this the show tonight. It's just been a pleasure to speak with you guys.
I mean, thank you for including me. What a
I so enjoyed it. Kenny, cheers to you, my friend, to health and liberty to you as well, to your family.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
Yeah, hey, Peter, thanks for making this happen, man. I forgot that there's even an audience out there. I thought it was just the four of us. You know?
Very cool. Really?
Well, again,
really,
you know,
that water was tap water, man, from Brooklyn.
New York tap water. New York tap water.
Oh,
I'm wondering which one's harsher. Liberty is New York tap water or my whiskey.
There's a finger in my glass.
Hey, you know, Peter, man, everybody here, you guys are such wonderful people. So I'm happy that you guys are in my life. Liberty, we've known each other for a long time, but I feel like we never had an opportunity to talk like this at this point in our life with everything. So I feel we got to talk more. Nina, I love you, and I feel like I got closer with you since, going through all the stuff with Mom, and I feel grateful that all three of us kids get along. My dad taught us something that is gotten farther and farther away from where people are at. My dad was open up for discussion. That didn't matter what you believed in. He believed in discussion and conversation, which, by the way, I read something that Ben Franklin was that guy. He would invite people, they'd have hangs, and it didn't matter if you disagreed. The whole point was to be able to talk and learn from each other and respect everybody else for what they believe in, and just, you don't have to. And so, anyway, Peter, man, you created a lot of this whole thing. This is great. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you saying that. And,
fantastic.
The point of these kinds of conversations, just to remind us, we're going into every day is a good day, but we're going into a very interesting time. And I think we're in an interesting time in history right now. I mean, and generally speaking, 5-10 years from now, I'm hoping that you guys will still be recording and playing music, and we'll look back at this and think, wow, that was just a very interesting time in history. But to your point, Kenny, is being able to have conversation, reminding yourself that you and Liberty, for example, maybe the phone call every now and then is warranted.
Yeah, I got to do that more.
An extra
the only request that I have is that when I die, do not put sticks in the coffin. I'm done.
Hey, Lib,
I'm done.
All right,
Lib, I might jump in the coffin with you.
Yeah.
The hard hitters go together.
There we go. Bam.
Yeah.
Well, I wish health and happiness for you guys. I really, really do. I hope you guys every single day. Kenny, I mean, you know how I feel about your music and everything you've done. You've changed lives with just being, and same with yourself, Liberty. I think you guys hear that so often. It's kind of like and I don't mean this in a negative way. It just means, it loses its maybe its power. Maybe it loses that magic. It's kind of like Santa Claus, when you pass over and you just go, gosh, and you just move. You guys hear that a lot, but I know from the comments that I receive, even through emails and so on, when they see that we've had these conversations, they talk about Liberty, the music that you've played on. Again, there's probably not a wedding out there that hasn't played one of song that you've been on, and Kenny, the same thing. And you've moved people, you've changed their lives, you've helped them through bad times, good times.
That's pretty good.
So I wish you just some amazing health and happiness for the new year. Nina, you're my new Ellie, so it's me and you. It's me and you. It's me and you.
Really a treat. I love my brother and both my brothers, and then that it's because of him I got this wild opportunity. So I really appreciate it. What fun to meet you, Liberty, and to have an interesting conversation. Thank you. Really, really great. I wish you all the best.
And Liberty, I can't agree with you more. I mean, I mean this sincerely. This is such a compliment that I'm going to give right now about Nina. I mean, I felt the same way. As soon as I started speaking with her, she used to set up things for Ellie to get on the phone call. So we just chat a little bit, and I was like, wow, I could sit and chat with her like forever. And then her mom, I mean, Ellie was like that too. That's what made it so amazing. Is just that those conversations were just so soul filling. They fill your soul. They made you think. And you know what I love about the way you and your mom was like this too. You had real strong opinions, but boy, oh boy, were they ever balanced. You're able to kind of be right in them. You could still but you could still have conversation. And to Kenny's point, have conversation so we can get back to where maybe 2022 will feel a little bit different when we listen to music and share a whiskey and have some fun together. So Liberty, all the best to your family. Happy birthday to your 5-year-old coming up, which is fantastic. I mean, I can't imagine what Saturday morning is going to be like for you. We play, you get a chance to live that again, which is fantastic.
Incredible.
It's great.
Kenny,
it's
to you.
Get pounded on the head to wake up. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, get up.
Get up. It's time to get up. And Kenny, hi to your son as well. We haven't talked about that, but and Gina, of course, I know Gina's on the front line still. I think she's still doing that work right now.
Oh, she's downstairs. Oh, no, she's not. She's a nurse, Liberty. My wife's a nurse. She's cooking for a couple of nurses that are coming over that she went to school with, and she's doing great, man. So, man, anyway, I'll tell her you say hi. Oh, you guys, I'm gonna go.
Right.
I'm gonna go because I gotta go. And
we gotta go. Everybody else, everyone who tuned in, thank you for your comments. We're going to try to get back to you, Kenny. I'll go through those and respond for everybody. Thank you so much, Liberty. Such a great thing. And Nina, good to see you. Everybody else, hey, you know how we end the show? Just be kind out there, everybody. Just be kind. Take care, everybody.
Bye. See you.
Bye.